How's it going out there, YouTubers? Cyberneticshark here with another new movie review for you. So let's go right into this review and see what I saw. So a couple weeks ago, I had the chance of checking out an awesome new flick. I think it's been now, about 2 weeks now since I saw it. This is just an interesting and definitely a different type of film. Now, I ended up seeing this along with Goosebumps at the same time, actually, the same day I saw them. And this one happened to be definitely, like I said, interesting, different, and had an interesting idea, and just was kind of very intriguing the whole film. Now, the film I'm talking about happens to be the film called The Bad Times at the El Royale. Oh, yeah. So I remember seeing the trailer for this film and just going, this movie looks really cool. Like, it's a really cool, like, thriller, maybe a little comedy involved with it, and kind of stuff like that. And I remember coming out of the theater with my girl, and she'd be like, and me and both would look at each other like, that definitely was an interesting film. Now, this film happens to be directed, none other by a gentleman named Mr. Drew Goddard. Now, Drew Goddard you might recognize, or you might not, because he really hasn't done a lot of movies yet. He hasn't directed a whole bunch. But he has directed and written quite a few films over the years. Now, one of the films that he has directed, the other feature film he directed, it was an awesome film I really enjoyed. I thought it was just a really fantastic remake of a film. And that happens to be the 2012 film, Cabin in the Woods. Oh, yeah! Such a great movie. That movie, just the ending of it was so awesome. The whole idea behind Cabin in the Woods was just really amazing. And I thought Drew did a really good job with it. I thought he made just a really cool, like, remake of a horror film and gave us a whole new type of thing to think about while watching it and giving us a kind of a new and different aspect from the original film that we saw. Now, when it comes to Bad Times at the El Royale, I thought that Drew did a really good job. I really enjoyed it. I thought he did a fantastic job. I definitely think that he had a lot of great concept in what he put into it, what he wrote about the film, and just like what his idea behind it was. Because the movie itself, the whole premise is really awesome, and all the different connecting stories and stuff like that were really awesome, and really good, and really well written. And just, unfortunately, there was like definitely spots that I feel they could have put more into, like just extend it a little bit more, because I felt it seemed a little rushed in certain spots, and I think that's the only thing that Drew, I feel, that didn't do very well when he had it edited. But other than that, I thought that Drew did a really amazing job with making the film, really made it interesting, and definitely made it very entertaining and enjoyable, and a great type of thriller. Now, this film has a very awesome and excellent cast. I mean, you have a huge cast in this film. I couldn't believe all the different people that, huge names that were in it, but also a few newcomers that I felt were really impressive. At least one of them was. And that gentleman was Lewis Pullman. I don't know if he's related to Bill Pullman, but anyways, this kid I thought was amazing in the film. Really excellent, really awesome. There's not a lot of information on him. Hopefully that'll come to light in the next future, because I feel that kid has a lot of great raw talent, and is going to be a really great actor. Now, to start off this awesome cast of this awesome film, or this semi-great film, or okay great film, great somewhere, there, somewhere in there. But anyways, this great cast, we start off with the awesome and amazing, film actor, director, just an amazing guy, Mr. Jeff Bridges. Now, Jeff Bridges, you might recognize from a slew of films over the years. Big Lebowski, Tron Legacy. You might recognize him from the True Grit remake. You might recognize him from a ton of films over the last 30, 40 years. Now, a couple films I really enjoyed him in, thought he was fantastic in, were none other than an awesome film that came out, I believe, in '98, and stars Tim Robbins and Joan Cusack. And that, of course, is the film Arlington Road. Now, Arlington Road is this awesome thriller film where basically everyone thinks Jeff Bridges is going insane, but he really realizes what's going on, and he's made to look like he's crazy, and he's trying to figure out and how to stop his neighbors from, like, causing all this mass destruction and so forth. And it's just a really awesome, like, cat and mouse type of thriller. And Tim Robbins and him just played, opposites so great in the film. And Jeff was so amazing in it. His performance was, so intense, so, electrifying, and just, like, so, you could not look away. Like, you could not take your eyes off him every time he was on the screen in that film, because he just was so awesome in the film. Just a really great film. If you haven't seen Arlington Road, get ready to have your pants blown off, because it's such an amazing film. Definitely check it out, people. It's worth the watch. Really fun, really awesome. Just a really excellent thriller. Another great film that Jeff Bridges was in that I think is a really kind of an underestimated action kind of thriller film that came out in the early 90s, and I think is just one of Tommy Lee Jones' greatest films too. And that, of course, is the film Blown Away. Oh yeah! Lots of car explosions, people. Woohoo! Lots of bombs. Anyways, with Blown Away, I just thought Jeff was amazing in that too. I really enjoyed his character. I thought he was really intense. I thought he collaborated and worked so well with Tommy Lee Jones in the film and just made it really awesome, really just cool, and made a great, cop detective kind of character. And just his performance in it was so well keyed, very on point, A to Z type of characterization, and just was a really great triumph in that film. And I wish he kind of got a little bit more recognition for that role, because I thought he was so awesome in it. I mean, that's probably one of his best performances, besides being in the Trons and being in True Grit, Big Lebowski, and so forth. I think that this is such an intense and awesome role that he played, and he played it so well, besides Arlington Road as well. And I just think that it was a very underestimated performance, like Arlington Road was too as well. And just Blown Away is just a really great action flick, and Jeff, brought it to life, gave us something so entertaining and fun, and really worked well with everyone that was in the film. And Tommy Lee played such a great bad guy in the film too. It was a really well-rounded film, and Jeff made it, a great film, and was a great, lead in that film. Now, when it comes to Bad Times at Royale, I really liked his priest character's character, and I thought he was really fun in it. I love how he played on, he was having, brain problems, and that he was having a hard time remembering things, and just how well he keyed that in, and how awesome he was. I think he was probably one of my favorite parts of the film, besides Louis Pullman, and I just really liked his character. I really, grew with the character through the film. I loved his, beginning and ending, how it kind of, brought together his story and stuff like that. And I just thought he did such an amazing job with the film. He was really enjoyable and really entertaining a film. Definitely worth checking out, just for Jeff's, performance, because it was definitely really amazing. Another great actor we have in this film is none other than an awesome, comedian, because I think this guy is absolutely hilarious. Every time he does a comedy film, he's so awesome and excellent. He's so amazing at it, and should just do comedies, period, because he's just so freaking awesome at it. And that, of course, is Mr. Jon Hamm. Now, Jon Hamm you might recognize from a slew of films, like Bridesmaids. You might recognize him from his show, that was on AMC there, Mad Men. You might recognize him in a few other things here and there, $1 Million Arm, so forth. But a couple of films I really enjoyed him and thought he was fantastic in were none other than an awesome film that came out a couple years ago, and I think it's just a really underestimated funny comedy film. It supposedly didn't do well with the critics. It was a semi-box office success. And that, of course, is the film Keeping Up with the Joneses. And I thought this movie was hilarious. You got Zach Galifianakis in it. You had, the gorgeous Gal Gadot. You had, him. And then you also had, not Jenna Fisher, but Isla Fisher. And it was an awesome and funny comedy, and John was so amazing in that role. He was so stinking funny. It made me think a lot of his character in 30 Rock, that, that's kind of Liz Lemon's lover. And just his performance in that comedic element was so awesome, but at the same time he plays a really suave kind of James Bond character, and you're just laughing your butt off watching him play this character, and he just played it off with such a great performance. He just was like super hilarious in that film. I really enjoyed him in it. If you haven't seen Keeping Up with the Joneses, definitely check it out, people. It's worth the watch. It's really fun. Another great film he was in is an actual based on true story film that actually, this is what this group of friends has done for the last 30 years. And that, of course, is the film Tag. Now, Tag, like I said, is a based on true story that these actual friends from high school actually have been playing the same thing of tag for like 20 to 30 years now. And John Hamm plays one of the characters in the film, and I think he was absolutely freaking hilarious in this film. I mean, I laughed so hard at every scene he was in because he was just so perfect. And then just the combination of Ed Helms and everyone else that was involved in the film, they all were so stinking funny and just worked so well together and just made a really great and funny comedy. And freaking John, some of his scenes, you're just like, you cannot not but laugh so hard because he was just like on point with his comedy and with his punchlines and so forth. He just was like so freaking funny and just a really great pleasure in the film. Now, when it comes to his character in the Battle Royale, I really enjoyed it. I liked his character. I liked the type of person he was. I loved, just how they created him and how they made him. And, it's too bad where his character turned. And at the same time, it was a really fun performance, I thought. I really enjoyed it. And he was really fun to see in the film. I feel there was definitely, I wish they had given him more screen time in the film. I definitely wish that his character would have evolved more. I really, still really enjoyed his character. Thought it was a fun character. Especially with that accent. Him being like, kind of like a car salesman type of guy. I thought that was really fun too. Another great actor that's in this film, we all know him as Thor, of course, the Marvel Universe. We all recognize him from the film in Heart of the Sea. We all recognize him from 12 Strong as well. And that, of course, is Mr. Chris Hemsworth. Oh, yeah, Muscle Man. Woo, yeah, Muscle Man. Now, Chris Hemsworth, like I said, you recognize him as Thor in The Heart of the Sea and 12 Strong. But a couple films I really enjoyed him and thought he was fantastic in were none other than an awesome film that came out in 2013, and it's a sequel prequel to an awesome film he did in 2010. And that, of course, is the film Huntsman Winter's War. Oh, yeah. I really enjoyed him as the Huntsman. I thought he was intense. I thought he was awesome. I loved him in, like, that fairy tale, medieval time look. I thought he looked so perfect in it. I think he would have been an awesome Viking. He just was, and that's why he was so perfect for Thor. And he just is such an awesome character. I absolutely loved his character. The action sequences he participated in were amazing. He just was a really great tour de force in that film. And I really enjoyed his characterization, and I loved where they took his character in this one. Him with Jessica Chastain's character, him dealing with Charlize Theron's character, and Emily Blunt's character. It just was a really awesome and excellent prequel sequel that they created. And I thought it was a great kind of like closing and final entry into that series to give us a whole roundabout and full story. And I just thought it was really well done and really awesome. And I just thought Chris was really amazing in it. And he looked awesome. I thought he looked so awesome in the film. It was a great pleasure of a film to check out. Now, another great film he was in that I think is just a really fun and exciting film. Really funny, lots of great cast. Another remake of a film, or reboot, I should say, that I think didn't get enough, worth for what it was. I think it's not a horrible remake. The idea of it when it first was going to come out, I was like, how could you do that? But after seeing this movie, I thought it was just a fantastic and fun film. And that, of course, is the reboot of The Ghostbusters. Oh, yeah. I know a lot of people hate this film and hate that they made it all female and stuff like that, but I thought they did such a great job with it. I mean, Paul Feig is an amazing director, and he just does a great job with films, and he did that with this. He made Bill Murray proud, Dan Aykroyd proud, Harold Ramis proud, Ernie Hudson, Rick Moranis, Sigourney Weaver. I mean, he made all of them proud, and like this new great entry into that series that it's just it was a really fun film, and I absolutely loved Chris Hemsworth's character in this film. He was absolutely freaking hilarious. Oh my god, especially when he does the glasses thing where he has no glass in him and he trips over the carpet and he's like, I'm in a hacky sack tournament, and just his whole performance in that film was so freaking amazing and just so fun. And probably my all-time favorite role of his besides Thor. He just was so freaking funny and showed like he has a really great comedic side to him. Kind of like along the lines of his performance Vacation. He has a really good timing and he's really good at comedy. Really great film. If you haven't seen the Ghostbusters reboot, check it out, people. Give it a try. It really is great. Don't get me wrong, the originals are classic. They're amazing, but this one was a really great triumph and a really fun film. Now, when it comes to Chris's performance in Bad Times at the El Royale, I really liked his character in this because he plays a bad guy. I hadn't seen him play like really a bad guy character. It was fresh and fun to see him play this type of character because he kind of had to have an evil side to him, and that's something I've never seen him do because he's always playing usually the hero type. And it was such a great and fresh and different approach to his acting to see if he has the chops to do more than, just be an action star. And he really brought it. I really thought he was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I thought he was very entertaining in the role. I really enjoyed just his performance and his lines in the film and just how he reacted to things. And I just thought it was a really great bad guy role. Really well done by Chris, and definitely worthy of watching this film, even just for that role as well, because he just was so good in it. So to close out this cast of this film, we have none other than kind of a newcomer actress. She's been in a few movies over the last, 5-6 years. She really has become famous because of this trilogy of films that are based on books. And that, of course, is Miss Dakota Johnson. Now, if you didn't know this already, Dakota Johnson is Don Johnson's daughter. And, of course, Dakota Johnson, everyone's, thinks of that name, 50 Shades of Grey. Well, one of the films I've actually seen her in, of course, is 50 Shades of Grey. And after seeing the first one, I'm like, I don't need to see the other two because this one sucked balls. And I was like, these movies are like horrendous and horrible. But her performance, I think, after seeing her in the first one, I was just like, I don't see her as anything of a great actress, unfortunately. I don't think she's that great. And in 50 Shades of Grey, it kind of brought that to light, making me even think that more, that she wasn't that great of an actress. But 50 Shades of Grey, basically, if you don't know what it's almost like, about, crazy S&M kind of sexual stuff between this, like, rich guy and this, lonely girl who they end up falling in love, basically. And, this kind of made her famous, and, she bared all, she was naked in the film and stuff like that. So she's really kind of, everyone's, like, kind of likes her, most of the guys, straight guys anyways, because she was naked in the film, had sexual stuff in it, and blah, 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 and stuff like that. But when I watched it, I was just, like, kind of, like, bored by it. And I was kind of like, what am I watching? So, unfortunately, I would not recommend any of those films, and even the first one even more, because I've seen it. But definitely, this movie really shows she's not really anything spectacular. Now, when it comes to the second film that I'm going to talk about, that I've actually seen too as well, is a movie called How to Be Single. Now, this movie was fantastic. I didn't mind her in this film. I definitely thought she was okay. And I thought that, everyone else around her and, with involving her made her performance so much better in this film. Now, when it comes to How to Be Single, this movie just rocks. I absolutely love this film. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was really fun. I loved Rebel Wilson in it. I thought she was absolutely hilarious. Just a really awesome kind of like rom-com type of comedy film. And even though Dakota Johnson's performance in it was pretty good, it wasn't too bad. Definitely was so much better than her performance in the 50 Shades of Grey films. This is definitely one of her best performances in a film I've seen her, and I thought she was actually kind of funny in this film, and I didn't mind her, and I thought she was enjoyable in this film. Definitely, I feel that her acting chops had improved a little bit from 50 Shades to this film because it was made afterwards, and definitely she's on her way to being, you know, a little bit better of an actress, but I still think she's overrated, most definitely, when it comes to her acting. And once again, in Bad Times at El Royale, I feel that once again it showed that she's nothing that great. I thought that her performance was really mediocre in this film, really, you know, just simple and nothing special, and I thought that even, like, when her performances are supposed to be more emotional, I thought they were so, you know, you could tell they were being acted, I felt. And I just, once again, I felt that her performance just was lackluster in this film, and could have been played by somebody that has better, you know, acting abilities, unfortunately. Definitely, you know, definitely better than her 50 Shades of Grey film role, but definitely, you know, once again, like I said, mediocre acting, and she's very hyped up and nothing that great. So if you're not familiar with what Bad Times with El Royale is about, basically the premise of the film is it's many people's stories, basically, about their one encounter or so at this hotel that is actually split in California and Nevada. And you can either stay on the Nevada or the California side if you want while you're at the El Royale. And basically the film's about these strangers that come together and the craziness that ensues at this hotel during this, you know, time frame of a few days, and basically what, you know, they encounter, what they have to do, and like trying to survive and to figure out what's going on, basically. Like I said, it's a whole bunch of different stories too at the same time that are kind of intertwining, and they slowly but surely show you what is gonna happen and how it's gonna end. So that's pretty much what the film is about. It's some kind of crazy story, kind of, where it involves evil people along with the FBI. This place used to be a place for spying and videotaping, you know, people that were higher up in the government doing stuff they're not supposed to, kind of stuff. So I mean, it was definitely an interesting concept, really interesting and fun, definitely entertaining, definitely a film to check out. Definitely an interesting film. It's something probably I won't add to my collection right away. Maybe if it comes cheap. Definitely not something I'm looking to pick up right away. But definitely interesting and fun to watch, and definitely something to definitely check out, people. It's worth the watch. Very interesting premise and very interesting film. And just, it's one of those ones that it does keep you kind of on your toes throughout the film because you're not as sure exactly what everyone's story is. And as this slowly shows you their stories, that's when it becomes very interesting and a lot of things come to light for you. So I thought that was kind of fun how Drew did that and made it definitely interesting and entertaining. So definitely check out, people. In theaters right now. Go check it out. Fun stuff. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching, thank you for liking, and thank you for subscribing. And if it's your first time here, if you've been here before and you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, go ahead, hit it so you don't miss this awesome video or any other awesome videos I put up. And as always, people, keep your eyes out for any older, newer videos you might not have seen mine yet. And as always, check out that awesome Stardust app, people, where you can watch 3 to 30-second little mini reviews of TV shows, trailers, movies, anything your heart desires. And also, this awesome app is always updating, adding new types of polls and contests and all kinds of cool stuff. And it's free. So if it's something that interests you, go ahead and go to your respective Play Store, download it, then look for me at Cyberneticshark. Follow me, and I'll follow you back. And as always, people, catch you in the next one.